Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Frivolous Writer, where you can join me on this journey of writing my very first novel. Y'all, it's Tuesday again, so I'm going to read another chapter from my rough draft. And, oh, you guys, it's getting harder and harder to write, uh, only because I'm getting closer to the end. And there's this thing inside of me that's like, oh, it's not ending. It's not where you're wanting it to go. And I just I'm working through that. There's lots of determination still left inside of me. But that's kind of where I'm at, and the chapters I feel are going back to being short again because I'm just trying to get these beats of the story out, and then I'm hoping to be able to build around them or do what I did in chapter 9, which is combine two of them together. So these ideas that I have, I'm just writing out the scenes, and then hopefully being able to find what they are linearly or where they belong in the story. But it's Tuesdays always make me a little bit antsy, a little bit anxious, a little bit vulnerable. And so, but also excited to be able to share what I've been working on with all of you. And also, I just have to say, my last video got over 150 views, which is really crazy to me because most of my videos only get like 20 views, which is wild. But we also jumped up to 63 subscribers, which is amazing. And so I want to just say thank you so much to those of you who have been following this journey since the beginning, who are joining along the way. Thank you to those who have chosen to subscribe to this channel, because this really is hopefully going to be a place where people can come together and share their part of the journey or what kind of journey they're on. I really wanted to, when I created this channel, create a community of people who are on a similar journey, who have been trying to write something or maybe create something. It doesn't necessarily have to be writing, but haven't been able to either continue or get started because it's hard. You have to overcome all of this self-doubt, but this should be a place for people to be able to come and share what they're working on and share their thoughts and their feelings. Because that's what really makes us stronger as artists and creators. So, with that, I just want to say a big thank you again to all of the people who have been following, liking, subscribing, sharing these videos. It's been crazy. It's been a wild journey, and I never thought that I would even grow to. I think we're at 63 subscribers, so I never thought I would grow to this size. I thought it would just be me and maybe a couple other people that I had told about the channel. So it's wild that people are actually finding this channel and engaging in the way that you guys have been engaging. So thank you so much. But with that, I want to get started on this journey. Again, I will read chapter 10. So just a quick recap. In chapter 9, we had a little bit of a flashback to Conrad's experience being friends with Eli and just how Eli was able to walk him through the anxiety that he experienced. Um, and then he woke up in a room and he met a new character, Jay. So a complete stranger, also in this otherworldly dimension, this purple, dark, dreamy dimension. And I think it was Andrew Carter who said it kind of feels like Stranger Things. The I can't remember what it's called in Stranger Things, but that other dimension there, it does kind of feel like that, but it's not quite that. I'm still kind of thinking about where I'm taking this, but you'll find out more because I've already written a little bit more into the future from here. But with that, chapter 10. Shh, Jay hissed, looking back at Conrad. You have to be quiet. Just because you can't hear out here doesn't mean they can't. He was right. Conrad couldn't hear anything at all. The sound around them was deadened, as though everything was covered with sound-absorbing foam. Conrad complied without objection and started walking as lightly as possible. Where are those things? Conrad asked. Shh, Jay hissed again, more aggressively this time, but still just barely audible. This time, Conrad took the cue and didn't respond. He followed Jay as closely and quietly as he could, Putting his faith in this stranger was a risk, but for some reason he felt he could trust Jay. That feeling of knowing, the one he'd gotten so many times before in his life. Somehow, even though this boy was his age, he felt so much more mature and confident than he did. Jay was alert, scanning the surroundings and moving swiftly, but continually checking back for Conrad to make sure he was still there. Perhaps it was this constant checking that made Conrad feel so comfortable with him. Conrad followed Jay's lead. He moved as fast and quietly as possible, his eyes darting around. They were surrounded by what seemed like endless houses and cars, all the same, one after another. There was no sun or moon in the sky, but it seemed like night, most likely because no one else was out on the street. Everything had a glow to it, as if being lit by the moon, but there was no light source that Conrad could see. Jay stopped suddenly. He reached back and grabbed Conrad by the shirt and pulled him as he sprinted towards one of the houses to their immediate left. They ducked down and Jay placed a hand on Conrad's chest to stop him. Conrad gave him a curious look. Without words, Jay put his index finger to his lips, signaling for him to stay quiet. Then, in the same motion, pointed out in front of them. It took Conrad a few seconds to see what Jay was pointing at. His eyes scanned the distance before settling onto something he couldn't quite describe. In the purple glow of a house 2 doors down, he noticed a faint darkening of the light. It stretched out from the house like a shadow being cast when a light shines behind something. But there was no light, and this was no shadow. As Conrad squinted, he could see it a bit more clearly. It looked like smoke, the kind that rises from a campfire, thick and opaque, but still translucent enough to see through. It moved between objects, touching one thing and then releasing it as it clung to another, as if it needed a host to move forward. "Stay down and don't move. Don't even breathe," Jay whispered as quietly as possible. Conrad did exactly as he was told. They stayed motionless, crouched down to the next to the house, just watching the thing stretch and retract its way down the street. As soon as it was safe enough distance away, Jay turned to him. "All right, let's keep moving." "What the hell was that?" Conrad said, grabbing Jay's arm to keep him from moving. "I don't know, and I don't want to know, but I've seen what it can do to someone who got a little too curious." "You want to know why we're the only ones here? Because those things eat people. And I don't mean figuratively either. I watched it eat someone. A kid was just standing there, and one of those things stretched out and touched him. Then it turned to smoke around him. The kid screamed until he disappeared. Then it stretched into the next thing and kept moving." Jay looked around, his eyes scanning the darkened streets. "Based on what I've seen, they're always looking for food. They never stop moving. They can hear you and sense movement, so all you can do is hide as far away as possible from those things. Unless you have a death wish. Do you got a death wish, man?" Conrad was in disbelief. He didn't have anything to say in response to what Jay had just told him. "Any other questions, or can we keep moving?" Jay asked, pulling Conrad forward and hurrying him along. "Stay quiet. I don't want you to attract any of those things. Got it?" "Got it," Conrad whispered as they moved forward. He stayed within arm's length of Jay, not wanting to stray too far out of fear of getting lost or left behind. They kept moving along the street until it disappeared behind them. The air was heavier here, thicker, like they were pushing through an unseen barrier of resistance. Conrad's legs burned, but he didn't complain. Jay hadn't slowed since they had left the last block, and there was something about his quiet focus that made Conrad want to keep up. The silence had changed, too. It wasn't empty anymore. There was a low pulse to it, a vibration at the edge of hearing that seemed to rise and fall in rhythm with their steps. Conrad couldn't tell if it came from the ground or from inside his head. Was he just used to this place now? He wasn't sure. Jay finally stopped beside a fence, warped by time. He knelt and brushed the surface of the wood with his fingertips, tracing lines Conrad couldn't see. "Are we safe?" Conrad asked. Jay didn't answer right away. He looked over at the dark street, his eyes narrowing as if reading something written in the shadows. "Safe enough," he said finally. Conrad leaned against the fence, trying to catch his breath. His pulse still pounded from the last run, but his fear had dulled into something else, something steadier. Maybe it was the way Jay moved. Every decision he made, every glance carried purpose, like he'd been doing this for years. "How long have you been here?" Conrad asked quietly. Jay's jaw tightened. He stayed crouched, still watching the distance. "Long enough to stop counting." "You don't know how you got here?" "I woke up like you did, confused, scared, thought I was dreaming." His voice lowered, "And then I saw one of them." Conrad shivered at the memory of the smoke thing crawling between the houses. "The shadows?" Jay nodded. "That's what I call them. They used to move slower, used to keep their distance, but something's changed. They hunt now. They listen." "Listen?" Jay turned to him, eyes catching the faint glow of a nearby window. "You'll hear it, eventually. The whispers. You think it's the wind, or your own thoughts, but it's not. That's how they find you." A quiet unease slid through Conrad's chest. He scanned the streets again, but nothing moved. "You said you've seen what they can do. What are they?" Jay stood, brushing the dirt from his hands. "They're what's left when something gives in." Conrad frowned. "Gives into what?" Jay looked at him for a long moment, and for the first time, Conrad saw something flicker behind his calm. Fear. The voice. The one that controls them. He started walking again, slower now, almost as if the words themselves could draw attention. Conrad followed close. "They say he used to be human," Jay continued. "Someone who got pulled in like us. But he didn't fight it. The voice in the dark offered him power. He listened. Now, he's what keeps this place alive. Or what keeps it hungry." Conrad tried to picture it. A leader made of shadows, speaking through whispers that crawled into people's heads, but the idea felt too big to hold on to. "You've seen him?" "No." Jay's answer was sharp. "And you don't want to." They walked for a while without speaking. The streets curved in impossible directions, folding back onto themselves, but Jay never hesitated. Conrad's fear began to shift into something else. He still didn't understand this world, but he trusted Jay's certainty. The way he read the silence, the way he seemed to know where not to look, he gave Conrad something to hold on to. He thought of Maya, the way the light must have folded around her until she vanished. Somewhere in this twisted city, she was still out there. He had to believe that. That must be why he's here. "Jay," he said, "if these things are everywhere, how do we find someone who's lost?" Jay stopped and looked over his shoulder. "We don't. Believe me, they'll find us." Conrad frowned. "That sounds suicidal." Jay's mouth curved into something that might have been a smile. "Only if you don't know what you're doing." He motioned for Conrad to follow and turned down another street. The air grew colder, the deeper they went. Every few steps, the faint hum in the silence seemed to echo Jay's voice. "They'll find us." Conrad didn't ask what he meant. Not yet. The purple glow above them dimmed until it was almost gone. Ahead, the outline of a house shimmered faintly, its shape twisting like heat over pavement. Jay stopped, studying it, then nodded to himself. "This will do," he said. "We'll rest here for a bit. Tomorrow I'll show you where it began." "Where it began?" Conrad asked. Jay glanced at him, his expression unreadable. "Where the one who controls them is." He pushed the door open and stepped inside, disappearing into the dark. Conrad hesitated on the threshold, staring into the stillness. The air felt charged. Somewhere deep inside the quiet, he thought he heard something shift, a soft, distant murmur, almost like words. He stopped, listening, but there was nothing. So there we have it. Chapter 10 done. Really crazy to think that I'm now over halfway done with the book. I am excited to see where this is gonna finish. Honestly, I don't know what the ending is gonna be. I was talking with my friend last week about it, and I don't have an ending for the book, and I don't know where this is going because I haven't really plotted that far out. I know that there's a couple more things that are gonna be happening. Um, I have a few beats left on my plot chart, on my little list of things that are gonna be happening, but um, I don't know exactly where the story ends because I had an idea when I began. I've been mulling it over. I've changed it a few times, but I really don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen to Conrad and Jay and Maya and maybe Eli. Uh, I don't know. I just don't know. And I don't know if anybody has any advice on what they would do or what they have done in order to finish a story. Like, how do you know where to end it? Because for me, I have this whole series. Like, I had a series of books in my mind built around this concept and this other world and this whisper. Um, but I just don't know where one book ends and one begins. And we've now met, at least foreshadowed, the villain. So who the villain is going to be, that I do know, but I just don't know what to do next. So if anybody has any advice, any ideas of what you think could happen, maybe not in the story, but how did you come up with the ending of your book? Or if you're not quite there, what are you planning on doing for the ending of your book? Because I do know where the story is kind of heading to, but I just don't know how to finish. And it's kind of stopping me from continuing because I'm like, okay, I don't want to keep writing into nothing, but that's kind of where I'm at. So maybe that's going to be my next episode. Maybe that's what I'm going to talk about on Friday is like what conclusion I came to for how to build to ending. I need to do a little bit more research. I'm going to be watching more YouTube videos. If you have a writing channel, let me know because I want to follow you. I want to figure out more. So comment in the comments below whether you have a writing channel, a reading channel, an art channel of any kind. I want to follow you. I want to listen to you. I want to see what you're going through. But also, if you have any ideas on how you can come to the end of your story, how do you wrap things up in a way that's meaningful and exciting and could still build into something more if we want to go down that road? Let me know. Also, we are 4 days into NaNoWriMo. I hope all of you are writing. If not, that's also okay. No judgment. I don't want you to feel any pressure because I know I felt that pressure myself and I don't want to put that on anybody. But if you have that drive to write and to fulfill that 50,000 word in the words in the month of November for NaNoWriMo, for this writing sprint month, uh, comment below how many words have you written so far this month? Ooh, it's crazy. So with that, everybody, I hope you have an incredible Tuesday. I will see you all on Friday when I talk about whatever topic I'm going to talk about. So whether it's going to be writing, how to write to the end of your novel, or whatnot. But I'll come up with something. If you have anything that you want me to cover on the next episode, make sure you comment below. I can't wait to hear from you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Bye, everybody.